Back in line, you dog! On your feet! Get them going!
Good evening. Oh, I'm sorry. Good afternoon, good evening, good morning, whatever the case may be. Welcome to Cross Examinations Live. I am your host, Mike S. Miller, and Romans 7, Cross Examinations Live. So we'll be doing Romans chapter 7 a little later on. And this is a topic that came up in the old Discord. What is magic? Why is magic evil? And isn't it magic when God does it? What's the difference between God doing supernatural, miraculous things? Why is it called a miracle when God does it? Why is it called magic when not God or not someone authorized by God does it? Well, I've been thinking about that. As you guys know, I like to think about things and come up with correlatives that that make it make sense why a thing is a thing is a thing, right? So when posit this. I should fix my focus, huh? My focus is a little janky. That's as good as I'm gonna get. All right, which is weird because it makes this blurry, but then I'm in. Can I do something different here or no? Backgrounds and focus. That's good enough. Actually, yeah, let's say hi to the people in the chat. Tina, bright and early. Chuck Keyworth is here, says late and pride is a sin. Rain is here. What is up, Rain? I'm taking up your guys' topic. Levo is here. How are you defining pride, Chuck? Pride. That's the thing. Pride, and at least in the King James version, which I think they had a grasp of English and a better grasp of the see, I don't know what the word is, the respect for God. Pride is never used as a positive in the King James Bible. God doesn't pride in his children. He joys children, right? Pride is always a negative. Pride is the first sin. And I think that's part of the trick of language that Satan uses to move the language along in such a way as to make you think, oh, that's not a sin. How can it be a sin to be proud of your achievements or to be proud of your children or to be proud? Because now we don't even think about it. Now it's so commonplace in our vernacular that the definition has changed, which moves us further away from the absolute truth that pride is a sin by muddying the definition and accepting it colloquially. Pride can be a positive. So I never use pride, or I try not to use pride as a positive. Pride is, in fact, a sin. Who else is here that I didn't say hi to? Dark Admiral, what's up? Drake, did I say that? I'm a Christian. I enjoyed Harry Potter. I don't worship it like so many dingbats do. Well, we'll get to that. Anybody else I missed? Hello, other people I don't know as well. Yes, welcome, one and all. Let's hold off on the Harry Potter topic for a minute. I go into this with Shad all the time because he's like, he doesn't have any problem with Harry Potter at all. But I understand the point of the quote unquote satanic panic thing with Harry Potter, which I don't get to that. Magic. Why is magic evil? but miracles aren't. So if I were to come to your house and I were to say, give me 60% of your income, or I will take away your house, your car, or whatever it is that I can sell in order to make up for that income. And if you continue to refuse to give me 60% of your income, I will kidnap you, take away your freedom, and hold you in my basement for some undeterminate length of time. What would you call me and my actions? You would call me, I don't know if thief is the right word. I mean, thief is one, but an extortionist, a kidnapper, and a thief, probably, right? What do you call it when the IRS does it? You call it government. The actions might be the same. The authority is what defines whether or not it's, well, in this case, legal or illegal, right? What is up, Joe K? So in a likewise sense, I was going to use the example of like cops speeding. Is it illegal when cops speed? No. I mean, not when they're chasing somebody or trying to get to a location, right? It's part of the job. Cops speed. Is it illegal when we speed? Yes. Why? Because they have the authority. The difference between an angel doing something supernatural in the name of God, under the authority of God, or God doing something directly supernatural under his own authority, and magic is the authority. So the magic would be, say, a demon or a fallen angel or a Nephilim or whoever doing what would be considered supernatural acts, right? But doing it, A, without the authority of God, and B, even doing it to thwart the authority of God, because what they are trying to do in most cases I can think of, except maybe Job. I don't think you'd consider what Satan was doing magic, but because Satan was given the authority to hurt Job. But it is to dissuade people from believing in the one who has the authority. So to move people away from the authority of the one true God and to try to grant them themselves authority and grant themselves worship and honor and all the things that belong to God, it's trying to move all that away from God. So there's no good magic. Magic is all. Again, it's, are you a thief or are you an IRS agent? Right? Bad magic is calling on demons. Magic is a fictional universe, is a different case. In a fictional universe is a different case because it's like the laws of physics there. I mean, yeah, if you want to make up your own rules in your own story, then that's different. Rain says, but if God had the authority, couldn't it just make non-miracle magic impossible? I mean, he could. He could also just wipe out all the demons, wipe out all the... I mean, what God could do and what God does, it's not really... It's like, why didn't Stephen King make it so that, the guy in The Shining wasn't a crazy person? What the author does, the author does. Authority. Wow, I didn't even put that. How have I never put that together? The author, the one who writes the laws, is the authority. I feel so stupid when I figure something out that seems so simple and obvious. What the author does with his authority is his prerogative. So yes, he could, but he didn't. So it's not really it's like the why God, why in Job, right? Why the one time, God finally gets a little peeked at Job is when he sat so patiently through all that torment and torture that Satan put him through. And then at the end, Job's like, but why? Just like Rain over here. But why? But why? And then God says, who are you to question me? Were you there when I created the earth and I created the dinosaurs, the behemoth and the Leviathan? I mean, Stephen King didn't create sentient creatures. I don't know what that has to do with the argument. So, anyways, that if you were actually looking for an answer rather than looking for an argument, that is the answer about what the difference between magic and miracles are. By them both being supernatural actions, yes, they are similar, but it is the authority that defines them, just like the IRS. The authority changes the definition, but not the action. The answer is don't ask why, shut up, might make right. I mean, you can think of it that way, but the answer is I don't have an answer as to why God does every single thing the way he does it. And any answer that I gave you to that end would be conjecture. So what's the point in asking? You and I can conjecture all day long. We're never going to get to an objective reality. Right? So is there a point to it other than just to have fun and argue? I ain't got time for that right now. I generally do like to just have fun and argue. But if you're looking for an answer, that's the answer. If you're looking for an argument, we're wasting time. Cool as it would be, I don't blame God for thinking letting people casually summon lightning and fireballs would be a bad idea. That's probably true. It would be kind of a superhero, supervillain world, wouldn't it? Imagine if Rain over here could work magic and just do whatever he wanted, and then you had some. I mean, you could get into fireball fights, right? It would be mass casualties. I think World War III would happen every day. Am I robotic for anyone else? It doesn't say that I have low bandwidth on my little screeny boppy thing. It was within God's plan for the world to fall, Drake. And there's another sticky wicket for me, the whole plan thing. So God sees the end from the beginning. This is where Buddy Rabbit and I will disagree because he's a Calvinist. So he, much like you're saying, thinks that God plans, and what God plans, his determinate will. Everything is God's determinate will. So, Rain, it is by God's will that you don't believe in him. I don't buy that. And I think the Bible's clear enough that it is God's will that you do believe in him. But you have free will, so you can choose not to. Calvinist. I don't want to straw man the whole Calvinist argument, but that's in a nutshell. They think like you. It's God's plan. All the bad stuff that happens is God's plan. No, see, you're putting everyone rejecting God on God's, as if that's what God wants. You're putting every bad thing that ever happens as if that's what God wants. God can redeem every bad thing that happens. God can work every bad thing that happens to be a good, right? So things can go against God's will. Yeah, they can. There's the determined will of God, like God will make a thing happen, and there's the permissive will of God, which is God will allow things to happen. He doesn't want people to reject him. He allows people to reject him because if he couldn't allow them, then they wouldn't have freedom. Would disagree with that, So if you have that argument, you can go take it up with somebody who believes that. It's not me. Okay, as to Harry Potter. Harry Potter. All right, God, Corpse Grinder. We just went through Exodus. You could go watch that whole series. God hardened Pharaoh's heart just so God could show his own glory. God makes people disbelieve. Pharaoh hardened his own heart, and God hardened Pharaoh's heart. It's both things happen. So is it God's determined will? I mean, it is worded that way. So I can't like say it's not worded that way, but it also is worded that Pharaoh hardened his own heart. So is it both? I mean, in some way it's both, but that also does not take away Pharaoh's own free will to harden his own heart. But I don't know. That's that's one of those questions where it's like, I don't think I'm quite going to have 100% grasp on that. But I know what the rest of the scripture teaches. So how it works, I'm not God. Don't ask me why. God hardening hearts takes away free will, but then Pharaoh hardens his own heart, doesn't he? He does. It says it in the script, in the text. So, and also not everyone is Pharaoh. That's true. Yeah. I mean, look, not everyone can call down lightning, right? Not everyone can cause it to be a drought for 6 years. Not everyone can throw people. There are particular instances in the Bible that shouldn't be taken as the norm. So can God, push somebody in a direction because to serve a greater purpose? Yeah. But does Pharaoh have no responsibility for hardening his own heart? I would disagree. I would think he does because he did. I gotta fix that. It's driving my OCD crazy. All right. Yes, we get it, Corpse Grinder. He is allowed to harden his own heart, and he did. God doing it isn't free will. No, but but he hardened his own heart. He hardened his own heart, and it says God hardened his heart. Did the two work in tandem? Did he just make it a little extra hard? I don't know. But in general, we all have free will, don't we? I can decide to turn this show off right now, can't I? I can. Nobody's freaking controlling me. God doesn't control every single one of all of our decisions. We do have free will. Corpse Grinder, do you not have free will? Are you telling me right now that you don't have free will? Is that your argument? If you don't have free will, then I command you. You don't subscribe to free will either, Rain? What the heck is with these people? You're here. You don't have to be here right now. You can both log off right now and go watch Pokemon. It's your choice. You know why? Because you have free will. I don't understand this argument that you don't have free will. It's that is not will. That is ability. I can't choose to fly. You can choose to fly away from here. I have options, but that isn't totally free. How free do you need to be? What choice are you incapable of making right now? Oh my, what is this? This is such nonsense. People have choices. They don't have free will. How can you choose something if you don't have free will? What are you? Does this make any sense to you? This is nonsense. Can I sin without hell? What does one have to do with the other? Can you sin without Mount Rainier? What are you talking about? Hell is a place, is a destination. What you do right now has nothing to do with whether or not it does have to do with whether or not you go to hell. But can you sin? Yes, hell is there regardless. Okay. So's Mount Vesuvius. Oh, actually, is Mount Vesuvius there anymore? Maybe it's not. I sense a semantic spiral coming. I know. What is all this? It's not. If I can't sin without hell, then the choice isn't free. Oh, you're saying, can I sin without consequence? I don't know. I mean, you have the free will to go drive your car at 150 miles an hour down the freeway, right? You can do it without if you don't get caught. There's still going to be consequences. Either you get caught or you get killed, right? The fact that there are consequences to your action does not disallow the free will of you making that action. Who taught you this stuff? Seriously, did the Pharaoh really had a choice? He hardened his own heart. It says it in the script. So that's not free. Free is without cost. Oh, I see. I see. So you're saying decisions have to have no results in order for them to be free. So you don't have the free will to go buy McDonald's because you have to pay for your Big Mac. That's not free will. That's stupid, corpse grinder. I'm sorry. That is the dumbest argument I've ever heard. Well, I can't say that. It's one of the dumber ones. So that's literally, it's so funny because so many times atheists will just say, no, it's not about sin without consequences, but you're exactly making that argument, corpse grinder. What you want is sin without consequences. That's very spot on, Tina. He's revealing the thing that atheists are always denying that they believe. That their argument that when we say you just want to sin without consequences, no, it's nothing about that. I don't believe because blah blah blah. And then you're like, I just want to have free will without consequences. Okay, thank you for peeling that layer of the onion and showing us the truth behind that we all already knew. DJ says the point of free will is you have the ability to choose. Consequences may influence your choice, but not necessarily determine it. That's right. If you know you're going to burn half your skin off to go run into a house and save a baby who's crying in a fire, you have the free will to do that. There will be consequences. You're even making a good heroic choice, but there's still going to be negative consequences. Would you do it? Most of you wouldn't. I'll tell you that right now. But you have the free will to do it. The consequence doesn't decide for you whether or not you have the will to choose to or to not. I'm not Christian or even religious, says Chuck, but I believe in God, and I find these conversations intellectually stimulating. Good. I'm glad you're here. What does that mean? A mafioso came to him and said, nice kingdom you have here. Right? So you're saying he didn't have a choice to let the Jews go? Is that? I mean, I think that's what you're saying here, but ultimately he did let the Jews go. And then he changed his mind because he's an Indian giver. Where's funny? There's free as in freedom and free as in beer. Yeah, right. I think you're confusing. Yeah, the words are funny. I think you're confusing the meaning of words. And then you say nope. But yeah, sorry. That's how everybody here just read it, buddy. You just revealed yourself. Free will deals with capacity of choice, not capacity to get free beer. Exactly. Some atheists are deterministic and say we have no free will. Oh, right, because all of our decisions are just chemical reactions in our brains. Right? I don't have a choice to fall in love. It's just the chemical reaction in my brain that says that I have to fall in love. And then it's the evolutionary determinism that makes me stay with my wife and raise my children. It's not that I have the free will to leave my wife and children or to cheat on my wife with some hot young thing. It's not that I have the free will, but I choose not to. It is evolutionarily determined in our robotic nature, which I also think is ridiculous. So I definitely have free will. Nothing happens if I don't show up for the stream. Perhaps some may miss my presence. I would miss your presence, Chuck. And that beautiful, is that a ragdoll or is that a Siamese? Or is it a mix? Please don't forget to show Mike some love and give the stream a like, subscribe, and share. Yes, sir. Okay, can we get to Harry Potter now? So, back when Harry Potter came out, I was a Christian already when Harry Potter came out. And I thought these Christians who were saying like, oh, it's teaching people witchcraft. And I got the basic things like, look, witchcraft is evil. I get it. But then I was like, I didn't read Harry Potter completely, but my niece did. She was just loved Harry Potter. And then I watched the movies and I'm like, these guys aren't doing magic. I mean, they're not like doing like Wicca, witchcraft, incantation, sacrificing things to gods and Satan and whatever. This is like superhero fantasy magic. They're just saying things in Latin. Leviosa, right? And so to me, I was like very much on the this whole quote unquote satanic panic thing is silly. That was high 20s years ago, 25, 30 years ago, something like that. I think Harry Potter came out 20, maybe around 28 years. 28, 29 years, something like it's very close to 30 years now, right? And so I was with you, and I was with Shad, and I was with Lit Dev, and I was with all these guys. No, it's not even real magic. It's just blah blah blah. But it labeled itself witchcraft, right? And now, 30 years, a generation on, I have met Wiccans. I have met witches, people who call themselves witches, people who travel the path of the dark one. And I think pretty much without fail, all of them say that it started with Harry Potter. I mean, those who are old enough or young enough to have had that be an influence in their younger life. They all say it started with Harry Potter. And it was what seemed like a harmless, Leviosa. It seemed very harmless and cute and fun for kids and all that stuff. But what it did do, much like marijuana. Okay, marijuana does cause schizophrenia, but that's a different topic. But I always thought it was funny that like people say marijuana is not a gateway drug. You don't have to do something else because you smoke marijuana. And I'm like, anybody that did heroin or PCP or PCP is not. That's how old I am. Cocaine, crack. Anyone that did any harder drugs that didn't go through marijuana first, right? And don't say, well, everyone smokes marijuana. No, they don't. Harry Potter was the quote unquote harmless gateway drug to a lot of people becoming freaking satanic, frankly. So it might have been silly. I honestly can't say the same thing about D&D, right? D&D was like, I knew all kinds of people that played in D&D, and I don't necessarily think like all you atheists in here, did you start your trip down atheism lane with Dungeons and Dragons? I don't think so, right? I don't think that's the case. But with Harry Potter, it's very and look again, when it came out, I was a Christian and I was on board with this is silly, it's kid stuff, blah blah blah. In the back of my head, I said, well, it is putting a positive spin on what the Bible says is a sin. It's very much like pride. It's very much that's very, very much like pride. How the culture normalized pride as a word, and then not only normalized it, turned it into a plus, turned it into a virtue. I'm so proud of my children. Well, what you actually mean is that you're proud of yourself for how you raised your children to be successful at what they're doing. That's what the root of that pride is, right? That's why it's silly when you say, oh, I'm proud of that person's children. How do you have any pride in that person's child? You had nothing to do with them and their achievements. What you're proud of when you say you're proud of your children is how you have raised your kids to be successful and in achieving things. That's the root cause of it. That's why it's weird when people say they're proud of other people's achievements. No, because the root of it is pride in yourself. Even when you say you're proud of somebody else. It's like, I'm proud of my sports team. Well, you mean you're proud because you are a fan of your sports team and you support them and you're part of that thing? It is you. It's like, you're not proud of the 49ers because you're not a supporter of the 49ers. It's all, pride always comes back to you. But culturally, we have made that into a virtue. Similarly, it's very similar to Harry Potter. We made Harry Potter because it was so fun and cute, and it sort of went underwater, did the submarine thing into the culture. It still ended up normalizing and even virtuizing to a generation at least, or maybe 2 generations now. That witchcraft isn't it? Witchcraft. Yeah, it's witchcraft. It's not bad. It's fun. You could be a witch like Harry Potter. You're a witch, Harry. You know what I'm saying? Do you know what I'm saying? DJ Peterson said, I started by reading The Sorcerer's Stone. Now I'm a heroin addict. Someone somewhere. Corpse Grinder says, I started by reading the Bible. Full of magic and crazy nonsense. Well, there's some magic in there. It's more miracles. I explained the difference earlier if you weren't here. Okay, I don't know what you guys are talking about. Cutting off tails or something? Magic is bad. Let's make a blood sacrifice for forgiveness. Okay, I feel like I need to repeat the early thing. Laveau says, the fundamentalist Christian school I went to banned Harry Potter. We smuggled them in and read them in staircases. You see what it made you do? See what your desire for Harry made you do? It made you break the rules. It made you sin. Right out the gate. Right out the gate. All right. So again, the difference between magic and miracles is the difference between a thief and the IRS. A thief wants to take 60% of your money, or threaten to take your stuff, extort you, or threaten to kidnap you and throw you into a box for some undeterminate length of time. So the thief, the kidnapper, the extortionist is here. His actions are identical. The action and the results of his actions are identical to the IRS agent. But you don't call the IRS it. Well, I do, but society doesn't call the IRS agent a thief, a kidnapper, and an extortioner because of the authority placed in the IRS agent. The IRS agent is just upholding the law. The IRS agent didn't create the law, but the law is there, and it is his authority to enact the law, which in every functional way is identical to the thief, extortioner, and kidnapper. Understand? The actions are the same. The authority changes the definition. That's the same thing with magic and miracles. Under the authority of God, something done that is supernatural is a miracle. Without the authority of God, it is magic or demonic. That's the answer to your question. So magic is bad. Blood sacrifice for forgiveness is not. Authority. Da, 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 da. Da, 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 da. Godly Entertainment Live. Children can develop skills that aren't nurtured by their parents. I was involved in track and field and basketball, all things my parents never did, and skills I honed on my own. Okay. I think you're missing the point. I'm not saying it's how they trained them to do everything they do. I'm saying it's how they raised them to be the people that they are. And I know I'm going against the cultural norm, Godly Entertainment. I know people, Christians everywhere, say, but it's good to be proud of your kids. And I'm like, look, for me, I never say that. I say I glorify my children. I love my children, and I respect what they do. And I'm stoked when they do good stuff, and but pride is a different thing, and I stick with the initial truth of it. Pride is a sin. So you can do whatever you want. You can say whatever. You can be part of the culture, part of the world who has accepted the first and worst sin that started all of the sin in the universe, pride, and use it as a positive. Go ahead. That's what the world wants you to do. I am not of the world. I don't want to be of the world. Any libertarians in chat? The IRS are thieves. See, I agree, but legally they're not. Da, 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 da. Da, da, da. All right, it is 37 minutes in. I should probably jump to the Bible, shouldn't I? I should. All right, let's grab a window over here. Okay, I should have this prepared beforehand, but you guys know I never prepare anything because I'm terrible. I should give I am not a pastor, priest, rabbi, teacher, la da 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 da. Are we in 7 today? We're in 7 today. I'm just a guy on the internet talking about the Bible and my opinion on things. You don't have to listen to me. I am not your parent. I will never be proud of you. But yeah. There it is. Corpse Grinder says, pride is a sin. Yes, pride is a sin. So God hardening hearts for his own glory sounds pretty pride-driven motives. Well, he's got greater motivation than you can even try to comprehend. So the first sin was seeking knowledge. How is that a sin? No, it wasn't. No, it wasn't, Ryan. The first sin was Satan's. The first human sin. Yeah.
You hit me tonight.
But Satan started all this. Right? It was Satan's pride that cast him down from heaven. Hold on a second. Oh, look, it's my sidekick. He wants to come join cross-examinations. Would you like to read? It's time to read the Bible, Elijah. No?
Any good steakhouses?
Any good steakhouses?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Ruth's Chris.
Wow.
Ruth's Chris.
It's $75
for a ribeye. Steakhouses are expensive around now. Flame Jumper, it's $78 for a ribeye.
Really?
Yeah.
It's Ruth's Chris.
Ruth's Chris. It's down on Harbor. We just went there a couple nights ago.
Yeah. Cool.
All right. Ruth's. Don't ask why it's called Ruth's Chris. I mean, I know the answer, but I'm trying to do a Bible study, not explain the meaning, the reason why. It's open for dinner. Yeah. Oh, you want to go to a steakhouse in the middle of the day? Why don't you just go buy some steak? dry brine it and throw it in the grill. Morton's not as good as Ruth's Chris, but it's as expensive. Claim Jumper, dude. Claim Jumper's really good. Their ribeye was really good.
Well, they're open.
Okay.
All
right. All
right.
right, bye. All right, Longhorns is decent. Where's Longhorns? Oh wait, I do know one. There's one in El Cajon, like on the way to your house. Like on the 67 and the 8, right by like Best Buy, and actually it's right next to, I think it's next to Dick's Sporting Goods, something like that.
Angus?
No, it's like Texas Grill or Texas. Hold on a second. I'm sorry, guys. I'm gonna have to pause this for just a second.
Texas
Not Black Angus. Not. Is it Texas Roadhouse? Is that what it is? No, it wasn't. I had a great. Oh well, I only had the prime rib.
I got the steak there.
Black Angus was good.
We went there.
We used to go there all the time, but I'd always get the prime rib because it's like I don't want to make the prime rib at home. So
I went to Texas Roadhouse and they burnt my mushrooms.
they burnt your mushroom, but how was the steak?
Wasn't very memorable.
Huh?
Wasn't very memorable.
Oh really? All right. Well, that's all I got for you. Chuck says we have Texas Roadhouse here for far more reasonable. Plus, they have this incredible cinnamon butter and yeast rolls. Roadhouse has great bread rolls. Get thee behind all the yummy cattle meats, Satan. What? What? You don't eat meat? What are you doing on a Bible show? The first human sin was rebellion against God. Yes. Pride is a sin because people place themselves above God. That's right. That's right. Now all this is corrupted. Is it because of this? The looking for a good steak? Oh gosh, that's what they're dropping off my grandson. You guys want to see my grandson? Hold on. Hi. What? They're not showing my head. Shut up. Grandbaby. Look at the grandbaby. Say hi to everybody. This is Hezekiah. Hezekiah, this is everybody. I woke him up for this, so I'm a terrible grandfather. They're dropping him. They're dropping him off so they can go to have a little lunch steak. So we're gonna babysit. You want to hold him? No. No. Oh, so cute. Okay, that's it. Okay. It's just a flat map. Oh. Not worth it. I know. It's all magic, isn't it? Yes, that is my invisibility cloak. You should see me when I have my invisibility bodysuit on. Everybody is a tiny Miller appears. Yes, I am a grandfather. This is what grandparenthood looks like. I don't have any rubber bands to put my hair back. You have a rubber band over there? You wouldn't have a rubber band. All right, I will just deal with my hair dropping down all the time. Okay, let's get to the Bible. Sorry for all that, but I'm sure it was worth it for some of you. Baby, what? I know, right? Rooster says, I'm a foodie and probably literally Satan. Aside from all that evil, steakhouse offerings are a personal passion of mine. I am a foodie too, and when I went carnivore, that is one of the things. I do miss all of the other stuff, but it's better for my health, so I don't want arthritis. Arthritis was bad, so I had to give up potatoes. All right. Getting lots of suggestions, and you're a proud joyful grandpa. I'm a very joyful, excited grandfather. Yes. That reminds me, I need to get a haircut soon, or I'll start to look like an English Scottish Mike Miller soon. Do it. What's wrong? You don't want to look like a Scottish Mike Miller. All right. Presenting screen. Wait, why isn't the screen? Oh, because I did the whole exit solo layout. All right. I had a nice spinach salad today. My arm is killing me. Slept on it wrong. Or was it the salads? Spinach doesn't inflame arthritis. However, spinach is very high in oxalates, which can cause, I don't know if it caused. That's actually a good question. I don't have time for that question right now, but I know it causes bone spurs, and oxalates cause bone spurs, and so it could cause pain between the joints, but I don't think it's necessarily arthritis. It causes gout. Actually, it causes gout. Bone spurs, oxalates cause gout, bone spurs, and kidney stones. Probably other damaging stuff too. Have you ever seen what an oxalate looks like under the microscope? I'm going to do this really quick. Oxalates under microscope. This is what you're putting in your bloodstream every time you eat vegetables. These are oxalates. That's what's in your spinach and your kale and your cauliflower and your broccoli and all that yummy, delicious stuff that you're enjoying as a vegan. You're putting that in your bloodstream. Does that look like it's going to do really good things in your bloodstream? Yeah, that's true. You can look it up. I stopped eating all that stuff, and I used to have chronic kidney stones. I've had up to like 3 in a year, but I've had them since 1999, and I haven't had one kidney stone since I went carnivore almost 2 years ago. So I would rather not eat broccoli than have more kidney stones. I would rather not eat spinach than have more kidney stones. Clearly has no idea where potatoes come from.
Oh my gosh.
They come from the pit of hell. That is why they're so delicious. But yeah, nightshade vegetables like potatoes, tomatoes, peppers, eggplants inflame arthritis. So I don't know if they cause arthritis, but they inflame arthritis. So, but for me, it's like I have like, look, I can make the tightest fists I want. I can bend back as much as I want. There's no arthritis that I can feel in that hand anymore. So it is the potatoes that inflame it. Because I cheated one time, potatoes. Next day my arthritis was back. I could do a carnivore diet. I should look into that. Everyone should look into it at least to figure out, because like all your chronic problems are probably coming from what you're eating. And if you go carnivore, all maybe not all, but most of your chronic problems will go away. And then you can figure out like if you want to add stuff back to your diet and like see what triggers what. That's how I discovered the potatoes. That's how I discovered wheat was causing me inflammation and making me snore. That's how I figured corn was causing my eczema or inflaming my eczema. I don't know what the difference is between causing and inflaming. Maybe the eczema is just always there, but it needs a catalyst like corn to inflame it. Same thing with arthritis, maybe. I don't know. But yeah, our food is killing us. That's true. All right. Spinach leaches iron out of your body. Does it really? That's something I did not know. That's funny. My wife had a spinach craving when she was pregnant with my oldest. Good friend of mine had chronic migraines. They went vegetarian. No migraines. Do what works for you. So migraines are caused by the constriction of blood flow to it's the constriction of your arteries. I would imagine going vegetarian, they were probably eating more beets, maybe more chocolate. There are foods that have a lot of that cause your body to produce nitric oxide, and that dilates your blood vessels so that the blood can get where it needs to go. Beets are very good at that, but beets are super high in oxalates. So there's reasons for all that stuff. It's what else would you take to increase your blood flow? Oh, also salt water. I can't remember what it is about salt water that it's supposed to release the tension, and because your brain either swelling or shrinking causes, because your brain actually doesn't have any nerve endings in it, so it's not your brain that hurts. It is that membrane around your brain that hurts, and like if your brain is swelling, that pushes and causes pain. But yeah, it's not actually, your brain itself has no nerve endings, so it's not. A headache is closer to your skull than it is to your brain. Beets all day. Yeah, I love beets too, but again, I do not like oxalates. Wow, I'm super late today. All right. This is not the health program or the baby program. I take 30 plus Botox shots around my head every 3 months for migraines. Blood restriction makes sense because they started after I had one of my mini strokes, and I do love salt. Yeah, so here's the thing though. Like my father-in-law was taking 4 doses, which is 4 times as much beet powder as you're supposed to take because it, again, it's a vasodilator, and so it increases your blood flow, which gives you more energy. Also, it would get rid of your headaches probably. But the problem with that, he was a vegetarian / pescatarian for 20 years, and he had 100% artery blockage heart attack. Thank God he was right next to a hospital, or close enough that they could get him in and get him going again. But zero cholesterol diet, had 100% blockage, and he was taking all those beets. I don't think those oxalates helped with his. It increased the blood flow, but at the same time, all those oxalates are really bad for you. So I'm trying to think of what is a good vasodilator that does not have. I mean, honestly, Tina, I bet you anything if you went and got a prescription for Viagra. I know it sounds silly, but Viagra, the reason it works is it is a concentrated vasodilator. It increases your circulation. For men, that has certain stimulating properties. But for women, I don't think it does. It would do, I don't know. But I bet you it would increase your blood flow and stop your headaches. I would bet. If you have somebody that You should try some. Thankfully, Mike won't sing. No, not today. No, that song will be stuck. Turn the beats around. Oh. All right, forget it. Romans chapter 7. Know ye not, brethren, for I speak to them that know the law, how that the law hath dominion over a man as long as he liveth. For the woman which hath an husband is bound by the law to her husband, so long as he liveth. But if the husband be dead, she is loosed from the law of her husband. So then, if while her husband liveth, she be married to another man, she shall be called an adulteress. But if her husband be dead, she is free from that law, so that she is no adulteress, though she be married to another man. Wherefore, my brethren, ye are also become dead to the law by the body of Christ, that ye should be married to another, even to him who is raised from the dead, that we should bring forth the fruit unto God. Not the fruit. Bring forth fruit unto God. Fruit unto God is the works of the law. And the good works. Loving your neighbor as yourself. Loving God. Right? So it is not by the law that we bring forth our fruit. For we are dead to the law. But we are married to Christ. And because we're married to Christ, we bring forth good fruit. The fruit is the evidence of our salvation. It is not the road to our salvation. One follows the other. Works righteousness people think works comes first and then salvation. Christians who understand the Bible understand that salvation comes first and then follow good works. And it's because we are saved, we can do good works. For when we were in the flesh, the motions of sins which were by the law did work in our members to bring forth fruit unto death. But now we are delivered from the law, that being dead wherein we were held, that we should serve in the newness of spirit and not in the oldness of the letter. See, I didn't even have to explain that. Romans is so straightforward. Like me stopping to explain a thing, and then 3 verses later, Paul's explaining it himself. I should just read it and just... What shall we say then? Is the law sin? God forbid. Nay, I had not known sin but by the law. For if I had known lust, or had I not known lust, except the law said, thou shalt not covet. But sin, taking occasion by the commandment, wrought in me all manner of concupiscence. For without the law, sin was dead. For I was alive without the law once, but when the commandment came, sin revived, and I died. I mean, that is, he became conscious. He became conscious that what he was doing was wrong. That's how I read it anyways. And the commandment which was ordained to life, I found to be unto death. Because, see, I was going to explain it, but for sin, taking occasion by the commandment, deceived me, and by it slew me. Wherefore the law is holy, and the commandment holy, and just, and good. Why am I having a hard time? I'm like jumbling words. Was then that which is good made death unto me? God forbid. But sin, that it might appear sin, worketh death in me by that which is good, that sin by the commandment might become exceedingly sinful. For we know that the law is spiritual, but I am carnal, sold under sin. For that which I do, I allow not. For what I would, that do I not. But what I hate, that I do. If then I do which I would not, I consent unto the law that it is good. Now then, it is no more I that do it, but sin that dwelleth in me. For I know that in me, that is my flesh, dwelleth no good thing. For to will is present with me, but how to perform that which is good, I find not. For the good that I would do, I do not. But the evil which I would not, that I do. Now if I do that I would not, it is no more I that do it, but sin that dwelleth in me. I find then a law that, when I would do good, evil is present with me. For I delight in the law of God after the inward man, but I see another law in my members, warring against, that's his flesh, warring against the law of my mind and bringing me into captivity to the law of sin, which is in my members. O wretched man that I am, who shall deliver me from the body of this death? I thank God through Jesus Christ our Lord. So then with the mind I myself serve the law of God, but with the flesh the law of sin. So even Paul, who wrote, thinking a third of the New Testament, look, if you sin, you fail. We all fail. Paul failed. Paul said right here, I want to do the law. I want to do good. I want to do right. I want to follow God all the time, but I keep screwing up. Nobody's perfect. Don't hate yourself because you screw up. As long as you love God, we're already saved. Again, we're saved already. It's not about salvation that we try to, keep right by God. It's because we love God. That's the purpose. We're already adopted. When you accept Christ, you're already adopted. You are already a son or daughter of the Father. You're part of the family already. Now it's like, it doesn't mean, look, my kids will always screw up. I will never stop loving them. As much as they screw up, and sometimes they try, I will never stop loving them. Just like God will never stop loving you, no matter how much you screw up. But ideally, you want to get to that point where God says, well done. All right. See, now in the culture, you say, you want God to be proud of you. No. You want God to be able to glorify in your life, in your actions, right? So you try as best you can not to sin, and you try as best you can to do things that glorify God. That's all that is. That's all that is about. Deborah Smith says 1 John chapter 3. You want me to go to 1 John chapter 3. Well, I can't just go read a whole chapter, Deborah. I just did one, so. I don't know. Blah blah blah. Can you pick a better translation? The King James is so bad and unnecessarily wordy. I like the King James, Corpse Grinder. If you don't, I don't know. Read along in a different version, but I'm going to read King James because that's my favorite. I love the way it reads. So there it is. Viagra. I'll just tell them identify as a man, and then I'll have to give it to them. I don't think you need a prescription for Viagra. I don't know. I've never tried any, but Siphus Ignitus. God to actual murderers and corrupt politicians. I think that too only has one O. Yeah, you're cool. God to magicians who make rain clouds for barren wastelands. Nah, you're bad. How just LOLOL. I don't think God says to actual murderers and corrupt politicians, yeah, you're cool. Can you cite me chapter and verse on that? Dr. House used it for that in an episode and got in trouble for off-label use. He used Viagra for migraines? Really? I don't remember that episode. I take L-citrulline that converts to nitric oxide. Oh, there you go. How well does that do? What do you take that for? Just for better circulation, or do you take that for headaches or something? There are multiple causes because you get different kinds of migraines. There's like ocular migraines and there's other kind of migraines. So specific migraines might have specific causes, but always like do the research on what the cause of your particular problem is. What Botox is doing, it's deleting your symptom, right? Your migraine is probably a warning sign that something else in your body is wrong that is going to kill you eventually. And your migraines are like, hey, flashing lights, you're low on oil. You know, if you like just turn the oil warning light off in your car, that doesn't change your oil. That doesn't replenish your oil. You need to replenish the oil. You need to figure out the cause of the headache, and you will probably be fixing a greater health problem than the headache itself. That's just a symptom. And your genius doctors giving you Botox. They're just turning off your oil flashing light. Laveau says there's so many versions and so many people claiming there's to be a real one. There's no way to determine who's right. Let them read what they want to read. Yes, there you go. You should have been here the day that Mike ran what he was reading through an AI and had it reword the passage in Gen Z slang. There's actually there's a Gen Z slang version of the Bible. Chuck says, I'm a guy, and the improved circulation helps you fight some aspects of aging. L-citrulline, you said. Was it L-citrulline? I'm going to look that up. Maybe I'll grab some of that. Because you can, look, there's never a problem with having increased blood circulation. That's really good all around for everybody. That is why we were taking beetroot powder, because it does the same thing. But yeah, I'm not going to take that because of the oxalates, and because I think in no small part that caused my father-in-law's heart attack, because he was just taking too much. He was taking 4 times the daily dose. Viagra was originally a blood thinner for heart problems. It got repurposed as wood hardeners. The guy that discovered was responsible for Viagra, he found that it was the vasodilation from oh my gosh, we just said it. Nitric oxide, from increased nitric oxide production. That's what caused the vasodilation. And then I don't think Viagra thins blood. It increases your arterial, it dilates your arteries so that more blood can get through. I mean, functionally that might have a similar result, but look, what's that going to do? If your arteries are bigger, it's going to lessen your chance of blood clots. It's going to get more oxygen to all of your body parts, including your brain and your nethers, and your fingers even, right? It's overall good. You want more circulation. So for all who wish to attack Mike today, cite chapter and verse for That's What She Said. I'm going to go ahead and end this show. Tina says, you're probably right, Mike, about my migraines, and you're right about the Botox. It literally deadens the muscles. Yeah. That's not really helping whatever is causing your muscles to tighten, is it? So putting duct tape on my check engine light was probably not a good idea. It might make you feel better for the moment. It's going to destroy your engine. All right. That's it. I'm going to go ahead and wrap this up. Ladies and gentlemen, we're 9 minutes over, but you did get to meet my grandson, Hezekiah. So God bless us, everyone. Do join the Discord if you like to continue these conversations. Not about my grandson, but, about everything else. Hope you enjoyed the show. We'll see you all tomorrow on the next exciting episode of Cross Examinations.
Back in line, you dog! On on your feet! Get them going!